how I would get into a Rolls-Royce degree apprenticeship for 2025. So in this video, I'm going to cover the 10 steps I would follow if I wanted to get into a Rolls-Royce degree apprenticeship starting September 2025, exactly what it says on the tin. So let's just get straight into this then. So who is this video for? This video is for anyone who's looking to start a degree apprenticeship at Rolls-Royce for September 2025. So why should you listen to me? Why am I qualified to talk on this topic? Well, actually, when I went through the degree apprenticeship application process, I myself got 8 offers, a lot of them in the engineering industry. And in particular, I actually got an offer from Rolls-Royce. So I've been through the process, I know how it works, and I know what you need to do to succeed in the Rolls-Royce application process. This is just a copy of my contract here. I got in for electrical and electronics degree apprenticeship at Rolls-Royce, and that would have been in sometime in 2023. So it would have been to start in September 2023, okay? Then, basically, in the past 12 months, I've been helping dozens of students get into different degree apprenticeships with companies like Amazon, JLR, HSBC, KPMG, just to name a couple of them for you there. But in particular, I just wanted to highlight a couple of my students who I've specifically helped, which will be relevant to Rolls-Royce. So this is Miguel here, who I helped get into Airbus for mechanical engineering, which is an aerospace company, and you can see like his offer email and all that sort of stuff here. And then 2 students here, Maya and Hiba, who I helped get into Rolls-Royce with their degree apprenticeships, helping them with their applications, and then also with the assessment centre, their interviews, presentations, and case studies, which we're going to get into all a bit later. We're also going to get into Rolls-Royce salaries and all this sort of stuff. So essentially, in this video, a lot to help you within Rolls-Royce. So what are the roles available at? I should say Rolls-Royce to be fair, not Airbus. So what are the roles available at Rolls-Royce? So basically, if you come to this page here, and I'll drop the link. Essentially, this Notion document, which I'm going to go through, which has all the 10 steps. I'll put a link to it in the description as well. So it means you can sort of access all the links. So if you watch this video first, just so you understand everything I'm saying, then you can go down to the link in the description, click the document, and basically get all the links and all the different things that I'm going to be going through in this video. Okay, so in terms of the roles they have at Rolls-Royce, loads of different ones in terms of engineering. You've got software engineering, electrical engineering, aerospace engineering, manufacturing engineering, nuclear engineering. So there's a lot of engineering ones available, but then there's also other ones like project management, for example. Did I see finance, supply chain? Okay, so there's a lot of engineering ones, and there's also some other ones sort of around the topic like project management, finance, and all that sort of thing. Okay. So essentially, without any further ado, let's just get straight into the 10 steps. So the first step, which is most important, make myself a tiny bit smaller so you can see the screen better. So number 1, you need to understand Rolls-Royce. This is the biggest mistake people make. Okay, so I want to just sort of get this out of the way straight away. Rolls-Royce, if you're thinking of Rolls-Royce, when I'm talking about Rolls-Royce in this video, if you're thinking of this, that's not the Rolls-Royce we're going to be talking about in this video. Okay, I've spoken to recruiters from Rolls-Royce. They say this is the biggest mistake people make when they apply to Rolls-Royce. They apply to Rolls-Royce and they say, "Oh, I want to work on your like cars," right? This is like a Rolls-Royce Phantom or something like that. You know, there's like super fancy cars which like chauffeurs are going to drive, like billionaires, millionaires, whatever, and all this sort of thing. That's Rolls-Royce, okay? But this is not the Rolls-Royce we're talking about here, okay? Because the Rolls-Royce we're talking about, like in these photos, to do with this car, it's actually it's a separate company. It's called Rolls-Royce Motor Cars, and it's part of the BMW group. So if you want to do a degree apprenticeship and you want to work on Rolls-Royce cars, like actual cars, you need to go and apply to a degree apprenticeship with BMW Group. Okay, they do degree apprenticeships. I actually went through their application process. I got all the way to the assessment centre. They offered me a place in the assessment centre, but I ended up sort of turning them down because I didn't need it because I had a bunch of other offers. But if you do want to work on Rolls-Royce cars, then it is a BMW Group degree apprenticeship you're looking for. Okay, the actual Rolls-Royce we're talking about today is an aerospace company. Okay, it's sort of power. They deliver power solutions, so they deliver power for aerospace, marine applications, and like nuclear sort of applications. Okay, and recruiters have told me if you come in and you even like mention anything about motor cars, like you think they're motor cars, they're just going to reject you because they show you just clearly haven't done your research. You don't understand what Rolls-Royce is. So don't make that mistake straight away, because you make that mistake, your application's going to be straight out the window. Okay, so it's not Rolls-Royce motor cars, nothing to do with cars. Okay, it's aerospace, it's power solutions, it's nuclear. It's like ships. It's just not cars. Okay, that's the first one there. Don't make that mistake. Okay, number 2. what I'd be doing is I'd make sure I got work experience. Okay, so hopefully you've got some work experience already in sort of the engineering field or aerospace field or something like that. If not, there's 3 links down here to get some virtual work experience. I want to highlight this one. This is the Airbus work experience. This is a extremely good work experience. People have used this work experience, I know, to get into like literal universities like Imperial College London. This is a really, really great one for your degree apprenticeship applications. So I'd 100% recommend coming and doing this virtual work experience here. Okay, it's going to cover all the sort of stuff that Rolls-Royce are involved in. Commercial aircraft, defence, sustainability, right? This is just perfect. If you're applying to Rolls-Royce, it's a no-brainer to do that aerospace work experience there. Okay, but if you want to have a look at more, there's the links down below. You want to make sure you're doing a MOOC, okay, or a massive open online course. A MOOC is a great way, number one, where you're going to learn lots of extra knowledge, okay? You're going to learn a lot of extra knowledge. Okay, for example, I did this course here, Introduction to Aeronautical Engineering. I put it in my CV, and look how much knowledge it shows I have. Like compared to everyone else who's just coming in saying, "Oh, I'm interested in engineering. This is kind of cool." It's like me coming in. Well, I've studied the atmosphere. I've studied the force on an aircraft. I've studied aerodynamics. I learned about turbine engines and how they produce thrust. I know about mass flow. I know about bypass ratio. I know about turbine engines and drive systems. It's like, who's a better fit for the job? Is it me with all this like solid base of knowledge that I have about the aerospace industry and aerospace engineering already, or is it some random person who just said, "Oh, I kind of like planes"? Right. So it's like the first thing there is the knowledge from these courses. And just a heads up for you, at the Rolls-Royce Assessment Centre, which hopefully, as long as you're doing the right things, you're going to get to. They're going to ask you to do a presentation, and the presentation topic is, we would like you to prepare a 7-minute presentation on a technical subject of your choice. Okay, that's what it's been the past couple of years. Okay, so I imagine it's going to be the same this year. You want to make sure you have a technical topic to talk about, okay? Because this is the kind of presentation where they might send it you like 7 days, 14 days before your assessment centre, so you're going to have to quickly come up with like a presentation, probably more like 7 days to be fair. But if you start thinking about it now, and you sort of tactically prepare, that's going to make this so much easier. So say you don't have anything sort of technical which you could think about to talk about. Maybe go and do a MOOC on something technical. Okay, so go and do an online course from Coursera, edX, or FutureLearn on something technical to do with aerospace or electrical engineering or software engineering or whatever field it is that you're going to apply into, project management, whatever. Go and do a technical online course, and then that's going to give you a topic to talk about in your presentation. So in my presentation, I use this one. Like literally, my technical presentation was just based on a couple of the topics from this here. And it just meant like I was talking about all this sort of stuff. My presentation was super technical. It was going into loads of formulas and different things to do with forces and engines and this sort of stuff. Because I'd done that course, it allowed me to have really good presentations. So that's where it comes into. I've given you this heads up now. It's a bit of that forward advanced planning, that strategic planning. Have a think about, do I have anything technical to talk about? Like a topic I know in detail, which I've studied. If yes, okay, fair enough. If no, go and do an online course on it. Okay, so this is about doing it in advance, long-term strategic thinking, rather than when you get 7 days before your assessment centre and you're thinking, "Oh God, I don't have anything technical." Start doing something about it now and go and do a course so that you have something technical to talk about. Okay, step 4, here's what I'd be doing. I'd be doing deep research about the company. So I've just put a few links here which will hopefully help you and guide you in terms of your research, because it's something you definitely want to make sure you're doing. So in terms of overview of the company, sustainability is a really key thing. Okay, sustainability, you want that to be a tick box in your application, mention it in there. Innovation, learn about some new things they've been doing. Safety is a key thing they care about. And business model as well. Okay, so for all the different degree apprenticeships, I'll be going through these, okay? And I think this business model, I noticed this one in particular. This one I'd say is important for people who are looking to do, I mean, it's useful for everyone to know this, but potentially people who are doing like the project management degree apprenticeship or the finance degree apprenticeship, just because here you see where they're talking about key risks. These would be something to talk about, because as a project manager, you'd have to manage risk, right? So these are some key risks for the business. So it's maybe if you can do a bit of research on these or understand these and mention these at some point, then that would be good. Okay, so I think this is a good page for everyone, but I wanted to just particularly highlight this risk section here for anyone looking to apply to the project management degree apprenticeship. And I think sustainability, this one's like super important for anyone who's actually going for the engineering itself. So aerospace engineering or nuclear engineering or electrical engineering or whatever, just because it's like this is like a massive thing on their website. They want to be net zero by 2050. They've got all these principles, like which should be good to come and have a look at here, do a bit more research, like circular business practices. That's a good thing to mention, because in terms of when you're designing like an engine, you want to use materials which can be reused rather than new materials. You want to be more efficient. That's where circular business practices come in there. So definitely I'd be mentioning sustainability there if I'm focused on engineering. Also company values. So these sort of company values which they have here. Put safety first, do the right thing, keep it simple, make a difference. You want to make sure you're showing how you align to these values, because they want employees who are going to come into the culture of their company. They're going to align with the values, and it's just going to all work well, and everyone's going to work together. So I've translated some of them here. So this one's obvious, this is safety, but this one's about being honest and having integrity. This one's about collaboration, and also adaptability to sort of new situations. And this make a difference one is to do with excellence, but doing things efficiently. So if you can mention those sort of keywords somewhere in your application, that's going to show, or at least mention them, a couple of them at some point, it's going to show how you align with those values, and it's really important for them that their employees align with their values. Finally, desired skills. Look at the job description, okay? Do a bit of research on the job description. So let's say we're coming to digital and technology solutions, okay? Look at what they've said here. They've said they want someone who's open-minded, curious, and motivated to learn. Guess what would be the most important thing to mention on your CV then? It would be to say you're at some point open-minded, say you're curious, and say you're motivated to learn. Mention confidence at some point in your application. Make sure you say you're passionate about digital and tech at some point in your application. Okay. Going back to what I quickly said before, it said how our behaviors drive us. Exactly what I said. You want to show how you align with these values and behaviors. Similarly, what you can do is come down to this bit here. How you think. Okay, well, you guess you got to say problem solvings, right? Okay, you need team skills. Okay, go and mention your collaboration at some point. Okay. So come and look at the job description and have a note of some of those key skills which you can see that they're looking for there. Okay, because that's going to be useful in the next stage. And the next stage is then the initial application, because once you're ready, you're going to have to go and fill out an application form and do your initial application. Now, one of the things you need in the initial application is your CV. And this is where I include all the research from the previous step, ensuring that I ticked off as many desirable skills, research, and values as possible. Okay, so it's like these desired skills we went through in the previous step, which you can sort of, you can come to this Notion document, as I said, and you can sort of make your own checklist. You can come and edit it and make your own list of the different skills. I'd be going through and making sure I'm ticking off literally as many of these as possible. And to be fair, when I was applying, I'd be aiming for 100% completion, sort of on getting every single one. Okay. Mention the company values. As we said, make sure in your CV you're mentioning honesty, integrity, collaboration, adaptability, excellence, efficiency, all that sort of stuff there. And I'd say write a 2-page CV, okay? And if you don't know how to write one of those, that's the structure. And I'll just link this video here. It'll be easier. So if you just come and watch this video, this is the most detailed video I've done on CVs and cover letters. So you can just click that one there, okay? For me, like no-goes is don't put a photo in, right? Because they want to do like, they call it Rolls-Royce. They care about like equality and inclusion, all this sort of stuff. So they don't want to see a photo of you, because they sort of want to do a blind application, if that makes sense. They don't want to be like biased because they saw a photo of you looking a certain way. So don't put a photo in. Similarly, I wouldn't personally do a 1-page CV. People go around a lot to my 1-page or 2-page CV. Now, I did a 2-page CV for all my CVs, and I got 8 degree apprenticeship offers. Okay, so 2 pages is fine. I think 2 pages is better because it gives you more space to talk, so you can talk about more stuff. You can say more stuff about each one, and you can leave more space and make the text like bigger and make it look nice and presentable, because some people just cram everything into 1 page. They don't fit as much in, they don't really say anything, and it all looks disgusting anyway because it's all been crammed into 1 page. So it's like I just go with 2 pages. Like, people discuss it in the finance industry. Maybe if you're in the finance industry, maybe it's more of a decision. But honestly, if I'm applying to an engineering degree apprenticeship in the engineering sector, it's hands down 2 pages. There's not even a chance I'm doing a 1 page. Okay. I also wouldn't include a list of skills. So when I've reviewed people's CVs in the past, they write a section sort of list of skills, right? Or my skills, or skills I bring to the table, or however we want to phrase it. And they just do a bullet point list. Oh, I've got communication, leadership, collaboration, attention to detail, organisation skills. Problem is, recruiters don't believe you when you do that, when you just bullet point your skills, because anyone can bullet point your skills. Like, I can bullet point anything. I could literally bullet point saying I'm fluent in Spanish, right? I could bullet point saying can do a double backflip or something, yeah. But I can't. What's more important is getting it into evidence. And this is what actual recruiters have told me. They don't believe you if you put a list of skills. Instead, take those skills and spread them throughout your CV. Put them in the work experience sections, okay? Put them in the key achievement sections. Rather than saying you just, oh yeah, collaboration, I've got it, they don't believe you. Instead, talk about one of the times on your work experience, or talk about your work experience where you had to work within a team and that developed your collaboration skills. Or talk about like a group project you did at school where it develops your collaboration skills. Because then you're doing evidence for it, and then they can see that you've actually done it, and they believe you now because there's evidence, okay? So that's just personally what I wouldn't do. Feel free to do those if you want to, but yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Next thing in the initial application is they have 3 application questions, which are maximum 300 words each. What is it about Rolls-Royce that makes you want to start a career with us? Why would you like to join a Rolls-Royce Early Careers program? And tell us about one social, technological, economic, or environmental issue or trend that you think will have an impact on the way we work and why. Okay, this is easy. Okay, just come to the research that we did previously, so that you'll have done more research. I've just given you sort of starting point now, and just come here. Sustainability, innovation, safety. Right, overview of the company, values, like this is what you can talk about. This is why I want to work, because I know that you have these values and I like them, right? This is some recent innovation I saw you do. Another thing you can do is if you come to media, look at the latest press releases, look at what's been going on with the company. Oh, I saw that you recently did this project, right? I recently saw that, like, our stories. This would actually be the better one. Don't go on press releases. Go on our stories. Oh, I recently saw that you did this. Like, you did this. Oh, you made this new thing, right? This really interested me. Just scroll through here. Like, any degree apprenticeship you're applying to, go to the our stories, the news section, the articles section. It's just going to give you so much research for your applications. Okay, and that's going to help with those. Okay, so those, honestly, just do your research and those questions will be fine. Okay. Now, in terms of LinkedIn, I don't think it's not. I think it's not necessary for engineering. Okay. I think. Let me just clarify. I think it's not necessary for engineering. Okay. I got 8 degree apprenticeship offers. Most of those were in the engineering sector without a LinkedIn at all. Okay. If I was going through the application process again for September 2025, I personally wouldn't be bothering with a LinkedIn. Okay. Because yes, you can spend 4 hours a week sorting out your LinkedIn, doing some cool connection thing and making a post and, oh, I'll do my profile. Or you could just do like a 4-hour course on like electrical engineering. It's like, which one's going to be a higher ROI? Changing your profile photo or learning what like bypass ratio is? Or learn about aerodynamics. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, for me, I don't think it's necessary in engineering. Again, if you're applying to finance, it's maybe a bit of a different story. Do you need one? If you're applying to Amazon, it's like, do you need one? Maybe. But like for strict engineering, it's just it's. I don't think the ROI is there. I think it's just better just to do a course instead. But if you do want to use LinkedIn, fair enough. I just make sure. I've spoken to recruiters. They say LinkedIn needs to be all or nothing. Okay. So this is the criteria I use when I'm looking at people's LinkedIn. It's like, if you are missing one of these, like your about section isn't very good, you don't have a profile photo, just bin your whole LinkedIn, okay? Because if you don't have a perfect LinkedIn, it's by definition mediocre, in which case it reflects badly on you because it shows that you don't complete a task, you're not organized, you don't pride yourself in like excellence and doing things to the highest standards. Your LinkedIn has to be all, like perfect, or just get rid of it. Okay, so if you don't have a profile photo, quickly go and do that. If you don't have an about section, go and do that. If your experience is all out of date, we'll go and make it out back in date. Okay. And then you can also do some posts and that sort of thing. But I think I'll leave it there today for LinkedIn because I just don't think it's needed for engineering. I'll be honest. But like there's gonna be no harm in doing it. But I just think it's a better use of your time to do something else. So in terms of applying, closing date seems to be mid-February. Personally, I would probably get my application in sooner rather than later because it's just with all degree apprenticeships they can close early. It's better to get your thing in sort of early. So if you still need to do some stuff, like you still need to do a couple of courses, I wouldn't necessarily rush it. And it's down to where you see it with the risk because it's a balance between how early do you apply versus do I leave it late so I can get more experience, but do I miss the deadline? It's all about how you see risk. Okay, if Rolls-Royce is literally your number one, then I'd probably be trying to do it quite quickly, get it in by the end of November. If I didn't really care about Rolls-Royce, then maybe it would be like a mid-December, end of December sort of thing that I'd be looking for. But I certainly wouldn't be looking to drag this out into 2025 personally. Okay, if you need the link to apply there. Okay, and I just remembered I was going to cover this in my CV section. This is actually a copy of the CV that I used for my Rolls-Royce. degree apprenticeship application. I just wanted to highlight a couple of things here. So you've seen how in my personal statement section here, I mentioned sustainability, because it's a key word. They're looking for sustainability. No LinkedIn, as I showed you here. This is a tactic you can do if you have good grades, like A stars or A's. Instead of putting it all on one line, like I could have, let me just show you here. I could have put this all on one line. Maths, physics, Latin, A star, A star, A star. Okay. And I could have done that on one line, but psychologically, this looks better because I put it on 3 separate lines, so it emphasizes each of those A stars. Like they have to read grade A star, grade A star, grade A star. So I'm literally hammering them home to me that I was a 3 A star student. That's the kind of trick you can do there, okay? Rolls-Royce is an aerospace company, or defense company, or whatever you want to call it. But all your experience doesn't have to be defense or aerospace related. So, for example, this here was essentially experience with BMW, so it was automotive experience. But it's still relevant because it's still engineering at the end of the day. Okay, so I just put a sentence here. Like it was literally talking about battery cells in cars, but I just made it relevant to airplanes. Although this application was automotive, this knowledge can be applied directly to batteries in airplanes and ships. Boom. Okay, so that means don't worry if you don't have experience in specifically aerospace or specifically defense. Maybe it's in a different type of engineering, right? You can still mention it, okay? Because it's just about just apply it to that industry. Similarly with this one, this was civil engineering work experience. And I was applying to electrical engineering at an aerospace company. This was civil engineering work experience. This was literally like designing a train station. Nothing to do with aeroplanes, okay? But it was about those skills, okay? It's like the actual task itself, designing a train station. Yeah, no one cares. That's nothing to do with Rolls-Royce. But it was the skills. It was the teamworking skills, the leadership skills, the organization skills, right? Presentation skills. It's all these transferable skills that I learned. Although it's in a different industry, they'll be useful for applying that at aerospace, at Rolls-Royce in an aerospace company. Okay, here was a MOOC I did. Again, this MOOC was on road transport, so cars, but I just linked it and made it relevant. This course included modules on electric vehicles, batteries, and charging, which is useful knowledge to apply to aerospace and marine applications of electrical engineering. I've just applied it there. And then this was the course I mentioned previously that I'd done. So if you can do a course like that, it's going to be really helpful for your presentation when you have to go and talk about a technical topic. Okay. And this is like, you see where I'm mentioning key things from the job description here. Remember when I talked about, problem solving is one of them here. Well, look here, solving complex problems. Okay. Remember when I said adaptability and being agile and that sort of stuff, like adaptability was part of the job description. Oh, guess what? I've said adapting plans rapidly. Right. Like a bonus thing you could actually do here is maybe mention something to do with health and safety, because that's one thing I haven't done in here. And I think I could have, because I had another work experience with other stuff on health and safety. So if I was redoing the CV, I'd probably do a 4th bullet point, or maybe I'd slot it in between these two. I have a different virtual work experience I did where there was more of a focus on health and safety, because Rolls-Royce clearly care about health and safety based on the research I've gone through there. So that's just my CV there, so I hope that helps. Let's understand the salary now, because let's just be honest, the salary, all that sort of stuff, that's pretty important to a lot of us who are applying to degree apprenticeships. Maybe you couldn't care less, fair enough, but let's understand the salary. So the Rolls-Royce starting salary, this is what they publish on their websites. This is all sort of information from them. Their year one salary is 20,000. Okay, I'll be honest, that's on the low end. Okay, it's on the low end in total, because you can get degree apprenticeships which are like 35,000, 30,000 or something like that. But that being said, the engineering industry, you do get salaries a bit lower. Okay, so it's like when you go to like the tech industry, like Amazon, that's where you're going to be earning 35,000. I think for the engineering industry, this salary is sort of fair enough. And I'll be honest, it used to be worse. I think Rolls-Royce a couple of years ago used to be like 16,000 or something ridiculous like that. Okay, so 20,000 for engineering. Obviously, it could be better. Like you could go to JLR and get a £25,000 salary, but I think it definitely could be worse. Okay, so 20,000 is what it is. But the point I wanted to show you here was this is the pay progression which they've published. Okay. And I just wanted to compare it to the university route, just for anyone who's still deciding with degree apprenticeship versus university. University is most likely going to take you 4 years in total. The reason I say that is because it's going to be most likely you do a 3 years bachelor's for university. But then on average, most people are going to have some sort of like extra bonus year. So for some people, it'll be you do your 3 years of university, then graduate schemes are super competitive. So you have like literally 12 months like trying to get on one and waiting one. There's a bit of that transition period there. And then similarly for a lot of people, they'll have finished their A-levels or they finished their year 13. they'll go on a gap year or something to Thailand to find themselves, right? They'll have that gap year, then they'll come and do the 3 years, and then they'll go on. So I think on average, although it's a 3-year university degree, most people take 3.5, 4 years before getting into a graduate scheme on average. So this graduate scheme at Rolls-Royce for engineering is currently £31,000 plus a £2,000 bonus. Okay, so that would be most likely in the year 5 post 18 option, you'd be getting into that if you went down that route. And if you just look at the salary progression here, it's roughly like 3,000 per year. So this one here, this number just for people's like before anyone goes like crazy thinking about something, this is a pure prediction from me. I would imagine once you finish your degree apprenticeship after 4 years, most of them are 4 years. At this point, you're going to get like promoted. You're going to get a full-time role. As long as you haven't done an awful job. It's like as long as you've done the job properly, you're probably going to get a role, right? I'd imagine it'd be 33,000 minimum. Okay, because you've completed it, and if it's just an annual pay rise, £33,000. But if they do an extra thing, because now you've been promoted to a proper role, it's like it could even be that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm completely speculating here, but I think that's just something to bear in mind because it just shows you like you're going to be out earning. Okay, even if it is just sort of an annual pay rise of that much, you're out earning this here, the graduate here, and that's without mentioning the 4 years of work experience you've got, essentially the almost £100,000 of earnings which you've had, and obviously half of it's been taxed. And okay, I'm not going to go into where your tax money is getting used, but you've had £100,000 before them, and you're still earning more than them. So it's basically no brainer. As I said, everyone I meet in engineering sector says a degree apprenticeship is the way to go. Okay, so. Thought I'd put that food for thought in for you there. So final thing then, in terms of next stages for Rolls-Royce can be online assessments and assessment centre. So for the assessment centre in particular, if you do want my help getting ready for your Rolls-Royce interview in the assessment centre, just book a call with me now and we can sort of discuss how I would help. Okay, so the link will be in the description, and also the link is here in this Notion document for you to use here. Essentially, we can book a call, see how I can help, and I should be able to help. As long as you're a good fit for the program, we can jump on board, help you out with your interviews, your presentations, your assessment centres, help you out with your other applications as well. So if you do want my one-to-one support, I obviously got into Rolls-Royce, as I said at the start of this video. So if you want my one-to-one support helping you get into Rolls-Royce, then just go and book a call with me. We'll jump on a free call, see how I could help, see if I can provide some value, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I hope this video has been useful, and I hope it's helped those of you who are applying to Rolls-Royce. If you got any questions or comments, like if you found this video useful, just let me know in the comments, and then I can keep making more videos like this one. Any other companies you'd like to see, you can put it down below. And yeah, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye bye.